Tip 18, set some intentions. So as we've discussed, it's the small moments and the decisions that we make in the small moments that lead to and create our future realities, our future environments. And so this tip today is to take some time, reflect, and create a set of intentions that you can use to steer your path over the next 6 months, the next year, or even longer. When we take time to envision the reality we want to create, the reality that we want to be experiencing, we can then use that awareness to guide our steps in the present moment. So as an example, I created a series of intentions before I went on my sabbatical to Bali because I was taking 4 months off of work and I knew that I wanted to be intentional about the experience that I was creating for myself. And I came up with 5 intentions: expansiveness, abundance, intimacy, inspiration, and generosity. Expansiveness, I wanted to feel open and free. Abundance, I wanted my heart to be full. Intimacy, I wanted to feel close connections, like real connections with people, local people, etc. Inspiration, I wanted to cultivate the conditions that allowed my inspired voice, my inspired self to rise up. And generosity, I didn't want this trip to be only about me. I wanted to find ways to give back to the community, to be generous with others. And so for each of these intentions, I took it a step further. I defined what I really meant by that intention. I created a series of questions to ask myself in the moment to help steer decisions. And I articulated what I thought success would look like once I had, I kind of achieved or was moving toward these states of being. And so I'll read an example for expansiveness. So expansiveness, expanding my sense of self, becoming one with my environment and the world around me, rising above my fears, heightening my courage, elevating my perspective to see things from a higher, broader viewpoint or a different angle, being open to new things, allowing discovery to mold me, change me, being more in tune with the current that guides the universe, feeling free and open to new possibilities, riding with the wind. My guiding questions were, does this make my heart feel open and free? Does this teach me new things and expand my perspective? Am I feeling braver than before with this experience? Has my higher self emerged? And success, I see the world in a different light. I've adopted new perspectives and let them change me. I'm even more comfortable in my own skin. I feel at harmony with the universe. I've learned new skills, and I feel a sense of freedom. And I did this for all of my intentions in my first couple days in Bali when I was at a lovely Marriott hotel. Before I exited the serenity of that hotel and suddenly had a lot of fear come into my life. And so I'm so thankful that I had taken that time when I was clear to write down the experience that I wanted to create and really think through it. Because later, when I was in the height of my fear and paralysis, I actually used it to help make decisions. And one decision, for example, was I had an opportunity to move into a house in a local village. It was a tourist rental, but it was far enough away from Ubud Center that it wouldn't be practical for me to walk there. There were no sidewalks, or take a car there. It was too close for a car almost, but too far away to walk. And so I would need to either really coordinate to find the right cars or to muster up the courage to get on the back of a scooter. And there were a lot of things or kind of noise that made me feel like, oh, I wonder if this is a bad idea. But when I visited this place, I went through all of my intentions and ask myself the questions. And there was something quite lovely about the staff there and the feeling of the place and expansive rice field views. And so I decided to take a leap and go for it, because every question I asked, the answer was yes. And it ended up being just such a beautiful part of my story, because I stayed there for 5 weeks, and then I ended up moving a couple compounds down into the house of one of the staff members, and that became one of the families that I got really, really close to in Bali. And then when I moved back in the fall, I actually lived in that compound again. So almost my whole time in Ubud, I've lived on that street. And I think that had I not had these to guide me, I might have made a decision out of fear instead of out of the reality that I wanted to create. So, tip for today: take some time, reflect, set some intentions.